All right, so balance, an hour, bliss together. And we've got some people joining us at home for our live session as well. So welcome to the guys at home. And we're going to start, I like efficiency, but I like to kind of double things up so, you know, we can sort of cleanse as much of the body in the short amount of time that we have. So we're going to start in Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together, knees out wide, but with an occipital release with your block. Now, you can choose, Supta Baddha Konasana, you can choose to have your hips on the ground, or you can choose to lift your hips off the ground with the bolster. And then with the block, if your hips are off the ground, you might like to change the block to balls and massage the tops of your traps. I'll leave that up to you, what you want to do. Let gravity work on your hips. If you do have some weight bags, you might like to place the weight bags on each thigh, one each thigh, or on the hips. It does offer quite a substantial amount of intensity, so just be aware of that. And then with the block, make sure it's on the medium level. The head, or the chin is tucked, and where the neck and the head meet at that occipital ridge, that's where you're going to be massaging in with the corner of the block that's closest to you. If you've got your hips lifted on a bolster and you're utilising the balls, then you place the balls one at each top of the shoulder at those big trap muscles. Once you've got yourself set up, then from here you've got a full 5 minutes. Time is crucial. It's a crucial element of our yin practice. It's the long hold. That allows the deep cleanse. Because it takes the body that kind of time to send the signals that are required for the deep release. And just like the body needs the time, so does the mind. Mind needs that time to sort of settle down, to focus. And ultimately, as we use this practice to release and cleanse the body in the different poses and the different releases of myofascia, so too by focusing the mind, by concentrating the mind, we can cleanse it. By concentrating the mind on the task at hand, by bringing the mind back into presence, moving away from distractions. It offers a cleansing aspect, a purifying aspect. Because the mind likes to cling onto things. And quite often the mind likes to cling onto negative things. You know, we can get 20 compliments in a day, but we get one criticism and that's what the mind clings onto. So this practice, and all practices of yoga actually, is an opportunity to cleanse, to purify, to wash out and let go of whatever the mind's clinging to. Bring it into presence. Take in 5 more deep breaths and feel the breaths wash through you. Got weight bags on your legs, then just slowly move them away and lift your legs up. You might like to use your hands to bring them out of that deep rotation. Now keep your knees lifted and just lay there for a moment. You can continue with the occipital release just for another 2 or 3 breaths. you can pop the block off to the side. And slowly help yourself up to a seated position. We're going to take cow face, or we call it shoelace pose in Yin. So left leg out long, right leg on top. And you want to bring the right foot all the way around so it's kind of next to the outside of that left thigh. That's option one. Option two, if you've got the range, you pull the left foot in as well, and then just kind of wiggle yourself so your butt's on the floor in between. Now for this first part, we're just going to lean forward. Tuck your chin, close your eyes. If you have props, especially if you're at home, you've got lots of props around you, you can use your bolster. You can kind of just use the end of the bolster to lean into. Make sure the bolster's on your mat so it's not going to slide out from underneath. You can have the bolster on your lap, on your knee, or even on the floor, propped up with a block. Just lean in, close your eyes. Now again, we're going to add in sort of that second element. And so now the legs are kind of, and the hips are kind of used to that position. Just slowly straighten out your spine. We're going to take a neck stretch. So you're just going to sit up nice and tall and drop your chin to your chest. Let gravity do the work. And then slowly lift the head back up, chin back up, right ear to right shoulder. Again, just let gravity do the work. We'll add in some extra oomph soon. We keep the spine upright, the legs as they are, and just move the neck, head and neck. Slowly lift the head up, straight over to the other side, so left ear to left shoulder. Again, let gravity do the work first. Now slowly lift the head back up, drop right ear to right shoulder again, and this time extend your left arm out to the side like you're trying to push down against the floor, but you're not actually pushing against the floor. And you'll just feel that left side neck, the stretch increase slightly. Then only if you want to, you can bring the right hand above and just above the left ear. Not too much pressure, not too much, no force. Just a gentle push of that hand to increase the stretch down that left side of the body, left side of the neck and the head and shoulder. And before we take it to the other side, we're going to drop the chin down towards the armpit, or nose down towards the armpit. So release the top hand just so you can turn your chin down, nose down, and then you replace that top hand. Keep your chest lifted so you're not collapsing into it, but you'll feel the stretch change. It goes from that real side neck to the back side neck, and maybe even into your shoulder blade a little bit. And then slowly release that top hand and let the head float back to center. Just release both sides, stay there for a moment, back in center. We're not going to do the other side just yet. We're going to bring the right hand to the floor, out to the right side of you. Left hand's going to reach up and over into a side stretch. Now you can use props here. You can put your elbow on a bolster or a block or a folded up blanket, or you can just, use your hand. If you've got the range, you can take your elbow to the floor. That top arm, you can feel free to bend the elbow and kind of rest it behind your head, especially if it gets a bit heavy. Just holding it in your side stretch. You've got 5 more breaths here. Then we're going to come back to where we came from back to straight. Just lifting yourself up really slowly. Just hold it in center for a moment. We're going to come back to where we came from as well, lying down our back with the occipital release, but this time with the internal hip rotation. So you can pop everything off to the side, come back onto your back. Get your blocks set up. So another occipital, we're not going to be here as long, but an occipital release with the internal rotation of the hips. So feet go to the outside edge of your mat and then your knees fall in. And again, once your hips and legs are where they need to be, then you can focus on that base of head and neck release. Five breaths here. Again, we'll move the legs out slowly, so just slowly lift the knees up, toe heel the feet in, just keep them there for a moment, maybe 3 breaths. You can continue with the occipital release. And then we set up our Gomukhasana, our shoelace on the other side. So you can pop the block off to the side, help yourself up. We did our right leg on top the first side, so left leg on top this side, which is right leg out long. Bring the foot all the way around. That's option 1. Option 2 is bending the under leg in as well, the right leg in as well. And then leaning forwards where we start. This just kind of gets the hips ready for that long hold, and then we can hold it for longer so we can do other things, add other layers, other elements. slowly straighten out through your spine. And again, we'll do chin to chest first, just gravity doing the work. And hopefully through our occipital release and through the stretches that we've done already, hopefully you'll feel some, cleansing aspect of the practice, that maybe you'll feel a little bit more freedom. Because ultimately that's what yoga practice, the yoga science is all about, creating freedom. That's what liberation is, to be completely free. Through all the cleansing practices of yoga, all the different styles, there's a famous saying, many paths but one truth. That one truth is enlightenment. The many paths are whatever your unique body, mind, soul requires to gain freedom. Slowly straighten out, and we'll go left ear to left shoulder first this time. Again, it's just gravity. Slowly up and over, right ear, right shoulder. Slowly up and over. Take the left ear to left shoulder again, and this time extend the right arm long down by your side. You'll feel sort of the intensity of that stretch increase as you sort of push that right arm away. And then the left hand can come over, and it can encourage a little bit more depth in the stretch. Remember, don't overdo it. Sometimes less is more. Let the body cleanse itself with the time in the hold. With each breath as it washes through you. Slowly release that top hand so you can turn the chin and nose down towards the armpit. Replace that top hand sort of at the back side of the head, and then you'll notice the change in sensation of stretch. Slowly release. Release the whole thing except the legs and just come back to center. Spine long. Just be in center for a moment before we take it into the big deep side stretch. So if you needed a prop for the first side, then you might want to bring your prop over for this side. Your left hand to the floor beside you, right arm up and over. Now that right arm for most of us can get quite heavy holding it there. So feel free to bend at the elbow. I like to sort of rest my hand sort of at the back of my head, elbow high. That takes a bit of the pressure off, the weight off, but without taking it out of the side stretch. You can rest on the left hand. You can bring the elbow to a prop, bolster, blanket, or the floor. Every breath, opportunity to cleanse, to wash out, to purify, to gain freedom. Slow, deep cleansing breaths. Slowly peel yourself back out. Again, just come to a straight spine position, neutral position for a moment. Let that body and the head and the neck come back to center. And then this will take us into waterfall, and keep your balls handy, so in arm's reach anyway. We'll set up waterfall first. So unravel your legs, lie back down on your back, slide the bolster in, or if you don't have a bolster at home, maybe just a folded up blanket. Bring it underneath your hips to lift your hips up off the floor, and then just float your legs up to the sky. We start here. So we've got our heart below, or our head below our heart. That's what gives us that inversion, gentle inversion practice, which is really beautiful, really beneficial for so many systems of the body. And in fact it gives the body sort of a washing out sensation because it flushes out our thyroid area right at the base of your throat. It sends signals to metabolism, to cardiovascular, circulatory, hormonal system as well. Everything we do in our many paths of practice has some form of cleansing, purifying, washing out. Quiet Yin practice is designed as a real meditative practice for us to turn in. And it's through that focus and concentration that leads to the meditative experience that is the ultimate cleanse for body and mind, because they are intimately connected. Now, only if you want to, you can just stick with Viparita Karani as you are. Otherwise, you bring the balls in, one into each trap. So the top of the shoulders. If you did this already, you might like to just stay in waterfall, or double whammy is always beautiful, because the second time round gives you more release, goes deeper into the tissues. It might take a couple of goes for you to find the right spot at the top of your shoulders. You kind of want to stay away from bony prominences as much as you can. When you place the balls, it'll just depend on your tissues as to what your arms do. They can just be down by the side, out wide. You can move them around above your head. I like to just cross my arms and relax them in my chest, just so the balls can sort of mold into the tissues. Legs stay floated so you still have the benefits of the gentle inversion practice. From here you can do whatever you want, so even a sway of the legs from side to side, just like a little tick-tock either side of 12 o'clock. Not too much. You'll feel the balls sort of massage from side to side. Circle, you can rock forward and back, you can move arms. Remember, everything we do is about purifying, cleansing. So if you feel those sweet spots that notoriously hold tension, this is how we wash them out. And sometimes when those sweet spots are really sensitive, it's not overly pleasant, but it needs to be done. Just like when you have to clean a wound, it needs to be done. You need to clean it out so it can heal. Same goes with these sweet spots. We need to wash it out so they can reorganize themselves into a more optimal functionality. choose to keep your legs lifted, or if you prefer, you can take a supported bridge where you bring your feet to the floor and then extend the legs out long. That'll bring a bit of a change and stretch to the front of the hips. You might need to readjust the balls or just let them go wherever they go. Maybe take them away completely, up to you. From here, I'm going to give you the option. If you want to continue some myofascial release work anywhere on the body, if you're familiar with the practice, then feel free to do that. Otherwise, we're going to come back to where we started in our Supta Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together, knees wide, and our occipital release. Again, you can choose to do something the same as what you did at the beginning, or mix it up by keeping the bolster underneath your hips, soles of feet together, knees wide, and then continue to utilise the balls. Or you move the bolster out from underneath, move the balls out from underneath, soles of feet together, knees wide, weight bags, optional, and then the occipital release with the block. Hips will have more freedom, and so will the neck, hopefully. So then we can go deeper, dig deeper into some really deep tissues. Gain freedom not just on a superficial level, but on a really deep level. about 5 more breaths. Slowly, if you have weight bags on your thighs, take them off to bring your knees back up to center. And just let your knees come to center and the hips out of the rotation, if that's where you are. This is going to take us into our final rest, our Shavasana, and your Shavasana could look like whatever you need it to look like. So just a stock standard Shavasana, legs long, arms long, palms facing up. You can bring the bolster in underneath your knees. You can continue with the occipital release if you like. You can bring weight bags onto your hips. Eye pillows or just a towel over your eyes is also really nice. This final rest is an opportunity for the body, one, to sort of soak up the practice. Two, it's the ultimate cleansing for the mind. To stay focused, to breathe, and to be really present. Because every time you bring your mind back into presence, you're purifying it, you're cleansing it. Washing away anything that the mind's trying to cling to, just by being present. It's amazing just how much influence and change we can make in an hour. That really sort of targeted focus. We can do that for our bodies, through movement, through the stretching and the myofascial releasing, but we can do that for our entire lives. By focusing, by being present, by cleansing and purifying each aspect, each layer of our experience. It's so powerful, such a gift. Gently deepen the breath and move the body as well, just small through fingers and toes. And help yourself up to a comfortable seated position, joining me at the front of your mat. Maybe you can roll over onto a side and just kind of lay there for a moment, and then help yourself up using your hands to a comfortable seat. There's no right or wrong. Once you do come up, if you needed to open your eyes and close them again, bringing palms together at heart center, Anjali Mudra. So we can close our practice off with that powerful vibration of Om that draws us into presence, that purifies and cleanses. Take a deep breath in. Thumbs to third eye center, we bow our heads. My soul honors your soul. That place of purity within me acknowledges and honors the same place of purity within you. When we're in that place together, we are one. Together we say Namaste. Namaste. Blissful. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining at home. See you guys again soon.